ugly, hideous, loathsome, oppressive, grotesque. Brutalist buildings have a unique repulsiveness. The 1960s concrete monsters, looming over city skylines, designed by socialists as spaces for the common man, their appearance, which contradicts traditional values of order and harmony, offend the eye. Many are dismayed, even frightened, when they pass under the gaze of looming tower blocks, embodiments of dystopian futures, broken communities, and the alienation or despair the modern man feels. There is genuine anger that these buildings, which can so often nest social fragmentation and criminal behaviour, disfigure their beautiful surroundings. This is particularly true in ancient European towns. The classical, Gothic and Romantic buildings juxtaposed with a grey horror which actively stands over and against its architectural surroundings. Such sentiment was expressed by Prince Charles of Great Britain, who in 1984 lamented that the proposed extension to the National Gallery of the United Kingdom would be a monstrous carbuncle on the face of a much-loved and elegant friend. No doubt, if brutalist buildings across the land were demolished tomorrow, many would join the Prince of Wales in celebration, rejoicing in the purification of architecture and the restoration of beauty. However, it is precisely because brutalism is offensive to our aesthetic sensibilities that it has great value. This can be seen in ideas inspired by the philosophy of Martin Heidegger and Martin Buber. They both argued that the normal way we engage with the world is through how we use things. I know what a hammer is by using it to put nails in furniture. I engage with my clothes by wearing them. Food is known through its consumption, and so on. A thing's functionality is what defines its importance for me. This has the effect that when we use an object, we are barely cognizant of its existence, independent of its instrumentality. As our focus is on the goal which these objects or people help us to achieve, we barely recognize or engage with the tool we are using. For example, you will be using a device, some kind of laptop, tablet, or phone, to watch this video. You may be using headphones or a set of speakers to listen to my words. Your machine may be plugged in with a cord or into a battery charging pack. You may be sitting on a chair with a table in front of you. You could be going for a walk in your local park, or you may be driving to or from work. Until I mentioned these aspects of your experience, you were probably largely unaware of these features of your present situation. Human attention is unable to hold as the object of its cognition in a particular moment a multiplicity of things. It narrows in on what is considered most important in that instant. Put another way, when we engage with things in this way, there is the only experience of the task being undertaken. Thus, the instrumental disappears into the background and is largely forgotten. Worse, it becomes solely defined by its purpose for me. We become the centre of reality by which things have their meaning. A kind of solipsistic egotism takes hold where my thoughts, feelings and actions determine the value of the other. It is what Buber called the I-it relationship with the world. Heidegger argued that this attitude towards object, what he called being ready at hand, is disrupted when a thing is broken. That is, we become cognizant of the object as a being with its own qualities and attributes when it is unable to fulfill its function. When my chair breaks, I become aware of it as a chair, studying it so that I might be able to fix it. The same is true for most things and people. When we can no longer use them for our own ends, we begin to recognize them as what Heidegger called unready at hand. We still see it as a piece of equipment which is made for a purpose, But we recognize it is unable to do this, and so it becomes the focus of our attention. However, this has the potential to move us towards a new appreciation of the object. Though we exist in the world primarily through activity, when forced to engage with an instrumental object as the object of our cognition, we can recognize its independent existence and being. This is the foundation of what Heidegger named the present-at-hand relationship with an object, a kind of reflective or contemplative engagement with another reality. It is also central to what Buber called the I-thou relationship between people and objects, a mutual encounter with the other as the other, the ground of loving communion and meaningful engagement with reality. Brutalist architecture decisively disrupts our ordinary experience of the world. When we are confronted with a monstrous tower block, a disjointed development, or soulless concrete jungle, our minds are dissatisfied. In part, this is because the building fails in its function. It does not please me, given its aesthetic qualities. So, we become aware of it as a building. While most architecture, no matter how stunning, can become normal or mundane to us through overexposure, brutalism defies acceptability. It defies our innate and socially learned expectations, and so we become cognizant of it as unready at hand. At this point, most people maintain their attitude of annoyance with the building, as it has not pleasured them, it does not fulfill what they expect a building to be. However, the brutalist building can open our mind to its reality as another. Forced to engage with it as the object of our cognition, we can learn to appreciate it for its own sake. Its shapes can fascinate the mind as the eye traces their strange angles. Its towering presence can make us enjoy walking among giants. Its greyness can be a source of delight, as all colours have an inherent beauty. Its rough texture, a sensual marvel to feel and experience. In all, brutalist architecture defies definition in relation to our whims, and reminds us of the reality of the other. It encourages us to love the other as the other, even if we do not get it at first glance. So, next time you are addressed by a brutalist building, I would encourage you to engage with it in a new way. As it looms over you with all its monstrous ugliness and powerful hideousness, demanding a response from you, don't shun its address. It is waking you up to the fact that the whole world is addressing you, and most of the time we miss it. The brutalist tower block disrupts your plane of existence. Embrace it. Contemplate its colours, its shapes, its history, its being. Revel in its qualities. And who knows, you might find a beauty within it you had never countenanced was possible. You might discover you are not the centre of reality, and the world is filled with others who defy definition. Delve into the mystery and wonder of creation. You might be surprised with what you find.